tank. He good at setting traps. Has great the power that he believes in. And a great chin too. So he was guy. He'll let you get out punches, and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's a wrap.
Great. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Errol Spence was left in awe after watching Terence Crawford's intense training. For the upcoming clash with Canelo Alvarez, having shared the ring with Crawford, Spence praised his exceptional ring IQ and world-class skill set. But what truly stunned him was Crawford's current form, his speed, precision, and flawless footwork. Spence described Crawford as a monster in motion, sharp, explosive, and laser-focused. This version of Crawford, he warned, is a serious threat Canelo cannot afford to underestimate.
Right here, roll.
Reflecting on his bout with Spence, Crawford showed nothing but respect for his former opponent. Known for his calm and intelligent approach, Crawford explained how he gradually breaks down his rivals, wearing them out with patient strategy before unleashing a barrage of devastating punches. His methodical style is built on precision and timing rather than raw aggression.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
Given that everybody say, "Oh, he's a big puncher," he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down, just wear them down. I don't think he has a one punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like boom, sleep. You know what I mean? I think it's like bam, oh, boom, 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 and then he just wear you down.
Right. Yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him like knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You always see him like wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything started weakening. And those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
Former champion and analyst Chris Algieri added sharp insight into the Crawford versus Canelo matchup. He emphasized that Crawford consistently controls fights, while Canelo has had moments like in his loss to Bivol where he was clearly outboxed. Bivol's size, jab, and discipline neutralized Canelo's power. Algieri argued that Crawford's adaptability, control, and technical skill make him a major threat, even as he moves up in weight. These are the exact traits that have historically troubled even elite fighters like Canelo.
And Terence Crawford, who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys. Number one, you can't boss me around.
Yep.
Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that. But I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare. Maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So when you talk about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that just psychologically when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, this guy's beating this, but stylistic. Even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights. The Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation. When he gets that in his head that he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous man.
Veteran analyst Max Kellerman offered a balanced take, noting that while both fighters bring unique strengths, Crawford has the edge in recent form and overall skill. He praised Crawford's timing, switch hitting, and knockout power, which have reached new levels in recent years. In contrast, Kellerman pointed out that Canelo's movement and aggression have slowed. Still, he acknowledged that Canelo's size could be a factor in close-range exchanges, but when assessing all attributes speed, defense, adaptability, Kellerman leans toward Crawford as the sharper, more complete fighter right now.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. So you briefly mentioned Canelo's power. So who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
The fight's dynamics are full of contrast. Crawford is venturing into unknown territory by jumping in weight, which could impact his speed and endurance. Meanwhile, Canelo, although seasoned at 168 pounds, is no longer the relentless finisher he once was. Recent performances show a more cautious, methodical version of Canelo. This leveling of the playing field gives Crawford a realistic shot. If he brings his best elite footwork, sharp ring IQ, and relentless conditioning, he can pull off a career-defining win.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class. And in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter. And the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Rising star Abdullah Mason boldly predicted not just a Crawford win, but one that could shock the world. He argued that while many focus on Canelo's size, Crawford's underrated power generated through timing, angles, and accuracy could be the difference if Crawford connects cleanly in the later rounds. Mason believes the upset could become reality. His take flips the common narrative, making Crawford's precision power a key factor.
I'll say Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. Crawford, I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter that night.
Bivol, who recently handed Canelo a decisive defeat, voiced strong support for Crawford. Bivol noted Crawford's physical transformation and emphasized his discipline, speed, and intelligence as major weapons. Having already beaten Canelo, Bivol's opinion carries serious weight. He believes Crawford has what it takes to win, suggesting that this matchup is far more competitive than it might seem at first glance.
Him in Dubai maybe a month ago, I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168, because it's big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able. He has good skills. He's awkward. He can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean, obviously
Keith Thurman shared a thoughtful analysis, pointing to Canelo's struggles with movement-based fighters. Referencing Canelo's fight against Charlo, Thurman explained how Charlo's footwork disrupted Canelo's rhythm and reduced his effectiveness. He argued that Crawford, with even greater strategic depth and ring intelligence, could exploit those same weaknesses. Thurman believes that Crawford's brain, not just his body, could be the key to victory.
And, we ain't getting punched in the face, so let's just watch the show and enjoy, people. You know what I'm saying? Let's just watch what these champions do. No matter what they do, they're both great. They're both going to continue to be great. But by the end of the day, one will be above the other.
Your eyes?
It's not like, I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Canelo. I don't want to say it's like, I feel like for the fans, it's coming off 50-50. Like it's hard for me to really commit, because this is what happened, right? When Canelo just fought the Charlo, right? When he just fought Charlo, he knocked Charlo down. But after he knocked Charlo down and Charlo was using ring movement, he never hit Charlo with another big shot. Okay? This is what Keith Thurman is watching. I'm not saying like, oh, Canelo didn't do good. Like, Canelo dominated. That fight he dominated, right? But let's just pay attention to little details, right? After he got dropped, he never got hurt again. Why, you ask? Why did Canelo not hurt him again? Oh, because he was on his bike, because he was using lateral movement, because he was watching with his eyes, and because he was being attentive with his defense, and he was able to make Canelo miss, but he was not able to make him pay.
On his podcast, Joe Rogan and comedian Mike Vecchione gave Crawford high praise. Rogan called Crawford a dangerous and elite athlete with top-tier mentality and discipline. He framed the Canelo fight as not just a challenge, but a legacy-defining opportunity. Rogan even called Crawford one of the greatest boxers alive today. For his part, Crawford recognized the size disadvantage, but remained calm and confident. He knows Canelo will try to use weight and pressure, but says he's prepared for every scenario. His mindset equal parts humility and self-belief shows why he's so dangerous. Crawford respects Canelo, but he's focused, adaptive, and ready.